I'm also the president of the Elmwood Merchants Association. And when Rob became a senator, it was kind of quick situation. And for those of us who were especially local, we were looking for an opportunity to congratulate him. And so he said, wait till summer. So we did. And we're also, of course, in the process of renovating and trying to make our gardens here more suitable for outdoor events. And this is our first attempt, and I think you could agree that there's lots of potential here. And so keep watching. We're going to keep changing. So Rob, of course, being a member of the Merchants Association, when he gave us the opportunity, I said, where would you like to have it? And I, of course, knew where that was going to be because he's our board president. So he said we could have it here in the gardens, which I think is really, really, really special. So we're just glad that you came out today and enjoyed the beautiful weather.
Well, thank you. It is just so humbling. Just amazing to me. Just a hometown kid here, and didn't think I was known hardly outside of the town of Elmwood. Suddenly became known. But I'm really humbled. It's just a great honor for the governor to appoint me, and it was a real challenge. There was a few days when it was kind of rough driving to Lincoln thinking, do I want to go there again? But after a couple of weeks, the governor was very helpful. Other senators were very helpful to get me up to speed after throwing me in the deep end and seeing if I could swim. Took a while to tread water, but then it became a pleasure to be there. I'm glad I'm there, and I'm glad I'm from Elmwood too, because it's great to have friendly people here, and especially growing up playing baseball. This is the baseball field right here. There weren't as many trees, and just wonderful memories I have here. But when I was born, lived in that house, and then when I was 9, moved into this house, and just had a wonderful family experience here in Elmwood. And you know, I lived in Kansas City for about 5 years. Peggy and I got an opportunity to come back here and work in Elmwood and raise our kids in the small town, and that's what Mrs. Aldrich did also. And we were really glad that we did come back and grow up in the small town and have our kids grow up here too. And just very honored, and thank you, Kent.
Well, thank you all very much for being here this afternoon, and thank you very much, Senator. I really appreciate your willingness to step up and serve the people of Nebraska as the senator here, because that is a big deal. It is a big deal that you are sacrificing your time to go to Lincoln and really put yourself out there for the things that you represent. And I really appreciate all of you coming here this afternoon to support the senator, to do kind of this open house, to be able to help celebrate Senator Clements being a senator and all the great work he's doing for you all. Now, since you're all from here, I don't really, oh, and I also got to say, Peggy, thank you very much for giving us the senator. Yeah, that's a little tip there. So whenever you're making a speech, always thank your wife, okay? Yeah, it's a rookie mistake. We'll let you go by that one, okay? So, but just always remember that one. So, thank you, Peggy, because we know you make sacrifices as well to allow him to be able to serve, so we appreciate that. I don't have to tell you what a good Christian man Senator Clements is, because you know him. I don't have to tell you what a good, solid businessman he is, because you all grew up with him. But I do want you to know what a fantastic senator he has made. Senator Clements really has done a fantastic job of jumping in, as he said, in the deep end. He didn't get the chance to do the orientation that everybody else did because he got appointed at the start of the session. So he had to learn all of this on the fly. Now, as you know, he's a smart guy. He figured it out. But he played some very important roles in the things that went on this legislative session, this past session. As you know, where farm income has fallen dramatically, anywhere between 40 and 45% over the last couple of years. And that is our largest industry here in the state. And so when that happens, that means our tax revenues go down as well, which means that we've got to tighten our belts just like our farm and ranch families have to do. The senator sat on the Appropriations Committee, and they had a lot of tough decisions to make. But he helped work them through that, and sometimes had to stand up to the majority on the board there. And folks, that's courage. To be able to tell your colleagues, no, I can't be with you on this because the things you're doing aren't right for the state of Nebraska. And he did that. He showed that courage. And I want you to know that really what we had to do was pretty significant. I mean, before I became governor, we were growing the budget at 6.5% a year. And folks, frankly, that's just not sustainable. This budget that the senator helped work on is growing the budget at 0.6%. We cut that growth by 90% to be able to get us back into budget. That requires some tough decisions. The senator was willing to make those decisions. That was important for us to be able to get our budget back on track. In fact, we did something really unique this year, almost unheard of. At least nobody can remember this happening in modern memory. The Appropriations Committee did two budgets. One right when they got there to get this year's budget back on track, and then the second one for the next 2 years. So they put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of hours to make that happen. That was significant. The second big significant thing the senator worked on and helped support was tax relief. Now, as I travel around the state, and I'm sure you hear about as well, the number one issue is property taxes, especially for our folks in agriculture. And we actually put together the most significant tax package to come out of the Revenue Committee since the 1980s. And the senator supported that. And I want to be clear because there's been some misinformation about this bill go out. This bill did prioritize property taxes. It would have reduced, if it had been in place this year, would have reduced average ag land valuations by 12%. That's a big deal because it would have gone to an income potential assessment that would have been more fair to our farmers and ranchers. That tax relief would have been immediate and certain versus the income tax part, which was also in this bill, which would have been in the future and tied to triggers, so it was not certain. It was only if our revenue starts growing. So this bill did prioritize property taxes, and the senator supported it. Now, his third priority, or the bill that he prioritized, had to do with reform of the Tourism Commission. Now, that's a non-code agency. It doesn't report to me. It's got run by a board of volunteers, and you may have read in the paper about how they had some problems with their previous executive director and so forth. The senator's priority bill was to help reform that. So not only was he working on the budget, which was a huge amount of time, and supporting tax relief, he was also working on reforming our government agencies for better government. Folks, we couldn't ask for better than that, but we did get better. Because on top of all that, the senator was a solid, principled person on defending our values such as pro-life. And that's another key thing that we want to make sure we continue to foster in the state, is how do we create a culture of life within state government? The senator also supported that. So I got to tell you, from my standpoint, Senator Rob Clements here is a rock star. I'm sure he never thought of himself as being a rock star in the past, but he is a rock star now because of all the great work he's doing. I can't tell you how pleased I am that he agreed to do this job, how proud I am of the work he is doing, and how much I appreciate his partnership in the legislature. So, folks, thank you very much for being here today. God bless you all, and God bless the great state of Nebraska.
Thank you, Governor. Yes, thank you, Peggy. By the way, when I knew he was going to come out to interview me, first I went and said, Peggy, I think I might be asked to do something. What do you think? And she says, I think it was meant to be if he asked you to go. She said yes. She said yes again. So, yeah, thanks for the reminder. I won't try not to forget next time. But thank you very much for all of your kind support. Probably the most humbling thing has been people coming into the bank now that I'm in there again, saying, congratulations, Senator. I think that he picked the right person. For people who I've known for years, 30 years or so, to have them say that is so humbling. And I just thought it was some little guy from a nowhere little town, and it's just very humbling. And I am glad I'm there, and will continue to do the kind of work that the governor is talking about. So.